If you are not tuned in to the hottest show on the streets, I'm probably going to have to revoke your Bama card. You are locked and loaded right now to, in my own words, on a Wednesday, happy hump day to everybody after 2 days, back-to-back days of fall practices with Zoom calls, coaching interviews, player interviews. We got a lot to get to, a lot to discuss, a lot to dive into on the number one forum for Crimson Tide football news, notes, and information. Yours truly, Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama magazine. And before I dive into any more of the introduction, we gotta give a shout out to you guys, the fans, the Crimson Tide fan base. Because of you guys, Touchdown Alabama magazine, we're now over 10,000 subscribers strong on the YouTube channel, over 10,000 subscribers strong. So we thank you guys, the fans out there, for your love, your support, your passion, your appreciation, your energy, not just for us, but for your Crimson Tide as well. But as always, we bring the show to you from Tuscaloosa, streaming this to you via YouTube. And speaking of the channel, go ahead right now, give a thumbs up, give a like on the show, hit that subscribe button, and turn on all of those notifications so that way you can have the best in news, notes, and alerts on your Crimson Tide. Along with YouTube, we're also coming to the Facebook people as well. So shouts out to all my Facebook people out there streaming to you guys as well. Speaking of Touchdown Alabama magazine, you can purchase individual copies of the magazine, have those sent to your door. Link will be found in the description. As always, it's awesome to be joined here by the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. John Ivory, in the production studio, as he does each and every time. And we want you to be a part of today's show. We want you blowing the phone lines up, blowing the YouTube chat line up, and you can do this by calling 205-448-1358. The number to call in to let your voice be heard. Once again, that's 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Before we get into the first topic of conversation, a couple of updates to bring here. On the Zoom call last week, Thursday of last week, that featured Alabama Athletics Director Greg Byrne, there was going to be a significantly reduced capacity inside Bryant-Denny Stadium for football season. The percentages hovered between 15 and 20%. Well, that number got confirmed as of Tuesday. It will be a 20% capacity inside Bryant-Denny. For a stadium that holds 101,821 people, you take that and you multiply that by 20%, you're looking at 20,365 people. 20,365 people will be allowed into Bryant-Denny Stadium this season, with the face mask requirement, with the face shield requirement, trying to have the health and safety there. And to the hurt of a lot of Bama fans, including myself, tailgating has been banned. I know it sucks. I will not get my carne asada steak, but I enjoy so much from my tailgate family. But you know what? Sometimes you have to sacrifice some things in order to want football during this time of the coronavirus period. When it comes to student tickets, students will have to opt in every week. Every game week, students have to opt in. There are no packages this season. You have to opt in as a student every game week to get those tickets. But that was just the announcement they're coming from, Greg Byrne, in terms of stadium capacity. Also, shouts out to former Alabama defensive back, legend for the New Orleans Saints. He's now in the Saints Hall of Fame. That being one Roman Harper, who has inked a multi-year deal with ESPN. He will now be an analyst for SEC Network, will be on the SEC Nation show. And for an individual that was a great defensive back at Alabama from 2002 to 2005, and an 11-year player in the NFL, a Super Bowl champion in 2009, he will now have that analyst hat working for ESPN. So kudos there to one Roman Harper. But now we jump into topic one of the conversation, and head coach Nick Saban and linebacker Dylan Moses both involved in Zoom calls to start fall camp. Coach Saban spoke on Monday to the media. Moses spoke on Tuesday. And what's interesting about Coach Saban is he's never been a guy in the green area, in the gray area or the in-between area. It's always all or nothing with Nick Saban, all or nothing. Either we're going to be all in and look great, or we're going to be all in and look terrible. No gray area, no in between. And Coach Saban talked about, last year's defense and the defense the last 2 years. He spoke on, hey, we got to improve everywhere on defense, okay? We were not good against the run. We were not good in the red zone. We got to improve our physicality. The leadership was not all that great. We gave up 18 points per game, or 18 plus points per game in each of the last 2 seasons. The most we've given up since we've been here. We got turnovers. We got 28 turnovers last year, which made us, first in the conference. But we got to get better in a whole lot of areas. But the biggest thing is the leadership has got to improve, especially this year where you're going to have a young secondary. You lost 5 guys to the NFL draft that were veterans, and while you've got some great talent in the secondary, you got a lot of young guys. So that defensive front, the leadership has to be there. Coach Saban mentioned that the return of Dylan Moses will provide quite a bit of that leadership. And when Moses spoke on Monday, when Moses spoke on Monday, he talked about how excited he is to be back on the field, to be practicing with his teammates, practicing with his brothers, practicing with his coaching staff. He says that his knee feels really good. He's been able to cut, move, burst, make lateral movements, diagonal movements. He's been able to maneuver on his knee, and that he's continuing to kind of develop that feel for being back on the field and playing. And while we all know, and he knows, that a strong performance this year from him propels him to be a top 5, top 10 draft pick in the first round of the 2021 venue, the thing he said yesterday, or the thing he said on Tuesday that really touched me was, he came back for his brothers. He came back for his teammates. He came back for this group right here. Dylan Moses said, and quote, "I love these guys." And you rarely see a grown man use the word love a lot, but he said, "I love these guys. I care about these guys. I came back because I want to affect these guys the right way. I just want us to get back to where we was as an Alabama program where people feared us." And just him saying that, it kind of puts the cap on why Alabama's defense was so dysfunctional last season without him. And there were so many players on the team that their strong suits were not Dylan's strong suits. Dylan's strong suits were in communication, in dialogue, in talking, and making sure everybody was right where they needed to be at to make plays, to be successful, and to be impactful. And not a lot of people on that team had that skill set or that ability. And you had a whole bunch of players overcompensating for what it lost in Dylan, and you can tell that they were overcompensating. You had, Xavier McKinney trying to direct guys from the safety spot. You had Anthony Jennings and Terrell Lewis trying to help guys out when their natural roles are just see the ball, hunt the ball, go attack the football. And while Christian Harris and Shane Lee, contrary to popular opinion, a lot of people felt like Shane Lee didn't have that great of a season, although he did put up big numbers. Dylan Moses said he commends both of those guys. They stepped up in a big moment. They played well. They really produced for their team at both linebacker positions, and they did a lot more than what he could have done as a freshman at that time, because Moses' freshman year, he was still trying to learn the defense. Christian Harris, Shane Lee last year had to learn the system on the fly. But with both of those two back, with Dylan Moses providing that leadership, providing that knowledge, providing that expertise, providing his energy, it's going to be very, very key here for the Crimson Tide in the upcoming season, because he spoke on, he is hands-on with everybody on this team. He's hands-on with the defensive linemen. He's hands-on with the linebackers. He's communicating with the secondary. His main thing is, as long as we can execute the way we need to as a football program, I have no doubts that Alabama will win, compete, win, a conference championship, compete, get to the college football playoff, and win a national title. I know it's been 2 days of fall practice, but he looks good. He looks comfortable. He looks back in his element. He looks back in action. It is really good to see, Dylan Moses back. And just like I mentioned on Monday's show, that Christian Barmore is going to anchor the pass rush. He's going to be the main guy in that pass rush department. But who will help Christian Barmore? Who will be those other guys that will pitch in and be a part of the creatures attacking the quarterback? In the same way, Dylan Moses will provide a big chunk of the leadership for Alabama. But who will help Dylan? Who will be dependent on? Who will be counted on? Who will take on that mantle to say, yes, Dylan's the main guy. Yes, Dylan's the head honcho. Yes, Moses is the nucleus of this, but I want to help him. I want to step up. I want to be one of those guys to where if Dylan needs somebody to lean on, if Dylan needs somebody to communicate with, if Dylan needs advice on this, that, and the third, I will be in pocket. I will be in place to help out the captain, the general, the leader of this defense. So a good question here for you, the fans, is while Dylan Moses will provide quite a bit of that leadership defensively, who do you see that will be somebody, or who or which group of players do you feel like will step up and take on that mantle to help Dylan Moses out on the defensive side of the football? But, Nick Saban, he mentioned, hey, we got some turnovers last year. We did a couple of good things last year, but got to get better in the trenches, got to get better against the run, got to get better in the red zone, got to get better in the full totality of the defense versus where we were the last 2 years. And it starts with having leadership. It starts with having guys that take on the mindset, that take on the moniker of owning this defense, of embracing this defense, and being big-time factors on this defense. But that's just some things that Coach Saban and Dylan Moses shared in Zoom calls to start this week. But we take our first break here on In My Own Words. Just getting started here on the show here on a Wednesday. Upon our return, we'll dive into your phone calls, your thoughts, your tweets, your chats, your text messages. Bring them in here as we start this fall camp discussion after this.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care. In support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
We are back into the action here, folks, on a Wednesday hump day, hottest show on the streets, #1 form for Crimson Tide football news, notes, commentary, energy, all those things when you talk about your Alabama football program. In my own words, with yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, Crimson Tide in fall camp. Back-to-back practices on Monday and Tuesday. Of course, it got Wednesday off, but we'll return to work on Thursday. And it's your time, Tide Nation, 205-448-1358. The number to call in to let your voice be heard on the show, 205-448-1358, 205-448-1358. And we'll start things off with my man Waylon, who is celebrating that 80th call anniversary. Waylon, welcome into the show, man. What's going on?
I'll tell you, like I always say, there's no other better place to be on Wednesday than TDA, man. I tell you what, I sure am liking what I'm seeing on these YouTube videos, these players practicing. Man, they done got me fired up. I'm telling you what, they out there and they getting down with it. In the heat, man, in the heat. Oh, I tell you what, Coach Saban's wearing that mask. I believe he looks better with a mask on than what he does with it off. Talk to me, Stephen.
Well, you know when Coach Saban mentioned on Monday that he wears that mask to where he can pull up over his face. It's like he's robbing a bank. And I'm like, Coach Saban, you're not endorsing bank robbery, are you? But, Coach Saban, he's staying safe out there. He's practicing social distancing at the program and at home. And as I mentioned, he's hungry. He wants that 7th national title to put him over, Paul Bryant. But on top of that, this coaching staff is hungry. Got a chance to hear from Steve Sarkisian on Tuesday, the offensive coordinator. And I know Coach Sark is still, recovering from the open heart surgery that he had, but he sounded strong. He sounded well. He sounded highly enthused about what he's got at the wide receiver position, what he's got in the quarterback room, what he's got on the offensive line, what he's got at running back. And the biggest thing he talked about was there was a question that was addressed to him about, he got a job offer, a head coaching job offer to go to the University of Colorado, but, Sark said, I'm not ready to leave Alabama yet. This is a special place. I have a great mentor in Nick Saban. He's taught me a lot of things, and it just would not be right for me to leave him yet, not when we have so much more left to accomplish.
That's exactly right. So much more left to accomplish, and they do. Yeah, I saw that interview with Coach Sark there. He sounded good, motivated, looking good, feeling good, and I'm glad to see that. And, Coach Bryant, he come from humble background, and he never forgot that, and that's what we need to remember. We're not going to do the poem today, but I forgot Monday. I got all wound up there, and James Harris, he was a wrestler. He used to be Kamala back a long time ago, and I met him back in the 90s from some friends of mine that took me to the wrestling matches. We always went to the wrestling match. We knew it was fake, but it was fun. And I got to meet James several different times, and he was about 6'7", 330 pounds, but he never forgot where he came from. He said, I'm just an old boy from Mississippi. So, that's, we have to remember that, where we came from, and not forget that, and do the best we can, and everything's going to be all right here with this COVID-19. I can see that. So, I know there's a lot of people in the queue. We'll try to have something ready on Friday, hopefully on Friday. We may have a special poem here. I don't know. Spencer put it in my ear now. If you don't get mad at him if I do it. So, anyway, and shout out to Samuel. I know how you feel, so. But we're going to get out of here, and we'll see everybody on Friday, Stephen. Okay, y'all? Everybody stay safe, and I'll be back Friday. Bye-bye, everyone.
Appreciate that Wagon always getting us started here with the shows every time that we do them. But we go now to another faithful call in the queue. Senator Hines. Senator, man, it's fall camp 2 days in. How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good today, man. I'm a little bit more calm today, Stephen. I'm not even going to lie. Just being able to, look at football news and see clips. By the way, great job on getting us the clips yesterday. And I also heard you in the Dylan Moses. I think it was the Dylan Moses interview or the Saban interview when you were asking questions. But man, I'm excited about this defensive side now that I'm starting to see or hear Dylan Moses and some of the older veterans that's left on that side of the ball speak out. And we all know Dylan Moses is a very reliable person not only when it comes to on the field play, but just his character in general. When he says something about what's going on with the team or what's going on within his peers, he's been very reliable. And for him to point out a few names in particular, Jalen Armour Davis and Josh Jobe and Battle at safety, I think that's big, man, for us in the secondary that has secondary questions about the secondary. I know for sure his thing was that he wants them to get better with communicating. But I think because of how much experience a lot of the younger guys up front gain is going to make it that much easier on the back end of our defensive schemes and how we like to play with aggressively putting pressure on the quarterback and being able to lock up and make the proper switches whenever we have deep third or man, we're passing off coverages as people like to run those crossing routes up underneath our DBs right behind the linebackers. So I think with him and Christian Harris having that experience this year and that lightning quick speed at the linebacker spot in the middle is going to shut down a lot of things. And our D line, we talk about this every week, Steven. Our defensive line group is so deep. I mean, just full of talent. It takes me back to that 2015, 2014 area where, we had so much talent going into that first playoff. It was just we weren't as disciplined. I feel like we went through that phase again with this group of guys, and now we want to see that experience level of talent on the field, man. What you think about our defensive back group, though? Like I said, I've been hearing a lot about Josh Jobe and Armour Davis. Have you been hearing much anything different other than the usual with those guys?
Well, no, have I heard those guys, Senator. Dylan Moses also pointed out Daniel Wright, too. And Daniel Wright is a guy that came in with Dylan Moses in 2017. They both came together, right out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And Daniel has an interesting story. His brother, Major Wright, played at Florida. He was a national champion at Florida, got to the NFL, and, Daniel's battled some injuries. He had a shoulder injury his sophomore year. He's had some time to really learn, the playbook and get himself mentally in the right mindset. But for the first time, it feels like everything has come, full circle for Daniel. He's got the full gist of the secondary, the full gist of the system. He's a weight room warrior, as Dylan Moses called him. He's a guy that's a leader both on and off the field. And with this young secondary, I feel like Daniel Wright's the guy. He's played in 31 career games. Not a whole bunch of starts, but he's played in 31 career games. He will be somebody that this back five will definitely lean on for guidance, for vocal leadership to make sure everybody is in that spot. Communication. Moses mentioned that Daniel Wright, one of the better communicators on the team in terms of the secondary. So another guy that you have to keep your eyes on, definitely the man from Florida, Daniel Wright.
Yeah, and I heard, and I'm going to say this and then I'm done, Steve. This guy, Brian Branch, I heard his name yesterday, talking with a couple of family members that are around the program and people that are, I communicate with, a couple players that I get to see every blue moon. And this guy, Brian Branch, they say he's a freaking highlight reel at any position in the defensive backfield, man. So I wouldn't be surprised if we have a injury early. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing that guy's name pop up a lot with a lot of big time plays or, just playing some meaningful snaps. But with that being said, Steven, I appreciate you taking the phone call once again, man. Like I say every time, best Alabama news outlet out there, Touchdown Alabama. Roll Tide, everybody in the chat. Let's keep this thing rolling. I love being a fan of this outlet, man, and let's just keep it going, Steven. Thanks again. Y'all be blessed today, man.
Appreciate the call there from Senator Hines, man, one of our great callers right there. We continue with the call and Q on a Wednesday. You're live on In My Own Words, Fall Camp. What's going on?
What's up, Steven? How you doing today?
Man, I cannot complain, man. We're two days into fall camp. I know Saban gave the guys today off. They'll be back to work on Thursday, but those first 2 days are pretty good.
Yeah. I saw a report before I just called about the NCAA council voting to allow the players to have an extra year of eligibility, even if they play this year. I wonder how you feel about that.
Say that one more time.
The NCAA Division I Council, they voted to have all the players be eligible for an extra year, even if they play.
So
it's been reported by Yahoo and Brick McMurphy.
So are you saying that they will have the extra year, or they will not have the extra year?
They will. This year won't count against their eligibility.
Okay, I like that. Because of the fact that we were prior to the SEC, ACC, and Big 12, among a couple of other conferences making that decision to play football. Football was up in the air for the longest. I mean, football was up in the air for, I myself in the media, you guys as fans. The thought was, are we going to have a season? Are we going to have football? Is football going to even be played? Are we going to have some sense of normalcy? So for us to now have football and for the NCAA to take notion of, okay, even if you don't want to play, even if you opt out, because of the unprecedented time that we're in for the coronavirus, we're not going to have that count against you. We're not going to have that count against your eligibility. So I like what the league did. I like that.
Yeah, I like it too. And I just want to say congratulations, man, on the 10,000 subscribers, man. Congratulations.
Appreciate that. Thanks for the love, man. We at TDA, we do what we do best, and that's providing the fans out there the best in Alabama football news and just be entertaining with it. And we appreciate everybody for checking us out.
Hey, man, that's why I share and retweet everything I see on Facebook and Twitter. Hey, y'all have a good day, man.
Appreciate the love, man. Already getting this thing started off here right here with calls on a Wednesday. But interesting topic here, fans, as y'all continue to line up the phone lines, 205-448-1358 with your thoughts and ideas here. But for the Alabama schedule here, kind of want your thoughts here on did Alabama get that scheduling break? I think it did. You got Missouri to open up the season, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, and then Georgia week 4, October 17th. So you don't start the U of Georgia. And then you get Tennessee on the 24th. You've got Mississippi State on October 31st. And you got the bye week. But after the bye week, you got LSU, Kentucky, Auburn, and then Arkansas on December 5th. Do you think Alabama got a bit of a scheduling break? Do you think that got a bit of a scheduling break? Or do you just feel like this schedule fell exactly the way it needed to fall? I know Coach Saban mentioned on Monday he has no problem with the schedule, no issue with it. This is exactly what he wanted to have done and see be done by the SEC. But for you as Bama fans, do you think Bama got that scheduling break by not playing Georgia first? But as you think on that, we're going to take another break here on the show. Don't touch that dial, because when we come back, coaches and players, we're only 2 days in the fall camp, but coaches and players are already impressed by Bryce Young. We'll talk about it after this.
If you want delicious home-style cooking, sushi, and hibachi, check out Otoro Hibachi in the University Mall in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. At home and you can't get away from the TV because the Crimson Tide is about to score? Don't worry, delivery is also available through Waitr and Crimson2go. That's Otoro Hibachi in the University Mall in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And make sure you let them know the good folks at Touchdown Alabama sent you. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $5.95 per month, or pay $49.95 for a full year subscription. That's a saving of almost $22. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
We are rocking and rolling here, folks, from the break on what is the hottest show on the streets, the #1 forum for Crimson Tide football news, notes, and information on a Wednesday hump day in my own words with yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Appreciating the man, John Ivory, as always in the production studio doing his thing. And as always, Tide Nation, be sure to give a thumbs up, give a like on the show, and hit that subscribe button. Turn all of those notifications on so that way you can have the best in alerts, updates, news, and commentary on your Crimson Tide. But it's only been 2 days of fall camp, Monday and Tuesday. Through 2 days of fall camp, you've got players and you've got coaches already excited about one Bryce Young, already impressed by the 5-star true freshman quarterback from California by the way of modern-day high school in Bryce Young. And on Tuesday, Devontae Smith was in a Zoom call, the veteran wide receiver, the senior out of Amite, Louisiana. He came before Dylan Moses, but Devontae Smith was in a Zoom call, and Smitty talked about there are so many things that he likes about Bryce Young. He mentioned it, despite the fact that he didn't have a spring, this guy is going to be a really good quarterback. He's got, the way he carries himself, the way he carries himself, the way he goes about the game, his feel for the game, his mindset in the game, the way he picks up things. He's a fast learner, quick learner. I like what I'm seeing from him. He is just going to be a really great quarterback. That comes from Devontae Smith. And it's interesting because am I saying Bryce Young is going to be QB1? No, I'm not saying that. However, it is intriguing that one of the veteran receivers in Devontae Smith, this is no fly-by-night guy. This is no, walk-on guy. This is no just third-stringer at wide receiver. This is a name of big weight. This is a name of cachet. This is a name of notoriety. This is one half of the heroic, the glorious 2nd and 26, which is forever etched in Crimson Tide football folklore. This is somebody that's got 23 career touchdowns, and 2 of those were game winners. This is somebody that if he would have declared for the 2020 NFL Draft, he would have probably been selected in the back portion of that first round. So Devontae Smith's name holds a whole ton of weight. So with him saying what he said, kind of a big deal, is a really big deal. So it's interesting to hear him say that. But then, right behind Smitty, here comes Steve Sarkisian, Alabama offensive coordinator, hours later at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, talking some of the same things on Bryce Young and how he has impressed Sark. So we got a clip right here of Sark from Tuesday's Zoom call. This is Steve Sarkisian talking about how impressed he's been by Bryce Young. So you've got a veteran receiver in Devontae Smith and the offensive coordinator in Steve Sarkisian both talking about one, Bryce Young. And what this does is the question you have to ask yourself, how much can Young rise in camp? How quickly can he rise? How fast can he rise? How effectively can he rise in camp if he's trying to take that starting quarterback position from Mac Jones? For a lot of you fans out there, Bryce Young is the guy that you want to start. That's the narrative being played up here. So how quickly, how fast can he rise? Because going back to what Sark just said there's still some little things. There's a lot of little things that he's trying to hammer in. He's trying to work with Young on. So how quickly can he take to those small things? How quickly can he eat up the learning curve? How effectively, how fast can he rise and take that starting job at the quarterback position? Because it's very interesting just seeing 2 days in a fall camp, Devontae Smith high on him, and now Steve Sarkisian speaking very high, of one Bryce Young. But along with that, and this is a conversation that I've been wanting to have with Alabama fans for quite some time. As much as you want to see Bryce Young play, and I want to see Bryce Young get on the field, the big thing here is being able to appreciate the entire quarterback room, in its fullness. And this has happened since 2014 when you had Blake Sims and Jacob Coker, when you had in 2016 Jalen Hurts and Blake Barnett, 2017 with Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Hurts, and then of course, now with Mac Jones and Bryce Young, it's become you can praise one quarterback, but people automatically feel like you're putting down, you're hating on, you're casting shade, you're being negative toward the other guy. And that's not necessarily the case. I mean, there's got to be a way to where you appreciate both quarterbacks, the entire quarterback room, in its fullness, because in the same way, the same mouth that said, Bryce Young, attention to details, you're starting to get an idea of what he can be, at Alabama. This same guy, Steve Sarkisian, talked about the moxie of Mac Jones. He talked about the toughness of Jones. He talked about the leadership of Jones and the way he was able to play down the stretch of the season, after Tua got hurt, especially when he got more confident in the role of being the guy, at quarterback. And for the longest of time, the quarterback position was one that Saban had trouble hitting on. And now that Saban has brought in a lot of these 4-star and 5-star guys under center at that position, you got to be able to appreciate everybody in that room for what they can do. It's kind of like, for a lot of people, it's like buying a car. You can have a Toyota Camry or a Honda, Hyundai, Mercedes-Benz. It's a great car. It's new, it's sleek, it's dependable, it's reliable. When you get in the car and crank it up, it turns on. That car gets you from point A to point B. That car was your road dog. It saw you through thick and thin. That car was a very reliable car. But then the new drop-top Bentley coupes come out. And everybody's like, oh, man, the Bentley coupe, bruh. Bruh, that thing's so sleek. It's so sexy. It's so appealing. It's so nice. It's popping. If you ain't driving one of them Bentley coupes, popping back little Bentley coupe one time, if you ain't in that Bentley coupe, there's a problem with you. And you go out there and you get the Bentley coupe, and all of a sudden that reliable car, that you had, that dependable car that you had, it suddenly starts to lose some significance. It suddenly starts to lose some value. It suddenly starts to lose some appreciation. And I know for a lot of you as Tide fans, you enjoy the young players. You enjoy the freshmen. I enjoy the freshmen. I enjoy the young players. But in the same way that we enjoy the young guys, gotta be able to appreciate the entire quarterback room and every strength, every strong suit, every ability that Mac Jones can provide, that Bryce Young can provide, and that Paul Tyson can provide. So the ability to enjoy everybody, not trying to pit, one quarterback, not trying to pit one quarterback against another, because in this season, in a 10-game conference-only schedule, you're going to have some players with nicks and bruises. You're going to have some situations where everybody's going to have to play and everybody's going to have to be ready to play. So if Bryce Young ends up becoming the guy, great, fantastic. You're seeing him through 2 fall camp practices. Devontae Smith saying big things. Steve Sarkisian saying big things. But if Mac Jones is the starter, and I believe he will end up being the starting guy, week 1, you got to be able to roll with Mac Jones and show that support to him and what he's been able to do, what he's been able to accomplish, the leadership and the moxie and the toughness that he has brought that team, and also show some appreciation for one, Paul Tyson as well, as he continues to grow, with him having a little bit over a year within the system. But it's very interesting right now seeing, players impressed with Bryce Young, coaches impressed with the 5-star freshman. How quickly can he rise? How quickly can he go? How fast can he build on the small things if he's trying to ascend in the crash course to becoming that starting quarterback for the Crimson Tide? We take another break here on the show. Don't touch that dial, because when we come back, it's back on you, Tide Nation. We entertain your phone calls, your thoughts, your tweets, your text messages, your discussion on Crimson Tide football right after this.
T-Town Menswear in the University Mall in Tuscaloosa. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $5.95 per month or pay $49.95 for a full year subscription. That's a saving of almost $22. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
We are back in the action, folks, on a Wednesday, hump day, hottest show on the streets, #1 forum for Crimson Tide football news, 2 days into fall camp. Yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. But we got some folks we got to shout out here in the Super Chats right now. First and foremost, we got to give some love to Senator Hines, one of our faithful listeners. Senator Hines, who brought in that $9.99 into the Super Chats, and another $9.99, or another $4.99 coming from Senator Hines in the Super Chats as well. Also, Waylon, the president of the TDA fan club, Waylon dropping in that $9.99 via Super Chats, and Jay Lee, a cool, clean, fresh $20 bill, donated that in there too, the Super Chats as well. So appreciating Senator Hines, Waylon, and Jay Lee for showing that love here to the TDA family. But we go to the phone lines right now, 205-448-1358. The number to call in to let your voice be heard. We pick up a call here on Today. You're live on the show. What's going on?
Hey, Steven, how's it going?
Doing good, man. Doing pretty good. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. Look, I'm sitting here watching you live on YouTube. I'm sitting on my couch. I got a little bit of a delay here, but this is my first call in. I'm calling from South Georgia. I'm sure you've heard of the Lowndes High School Vikings down here in Titletown with the Valdosta Wildcats, haven't you?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, man. That's where I'm calling you from. Lowndes High graduate myself. Got a quarterback here at Lowndes High School, Jakari Brown, getting some attention from Clemson and Ohio State. He's up there, a 4-star dual threat. He's a junior this year. Maybe Saban and company will give him a look here. He's only a junior, 6'5", 225.
You know what? We're going to have our own Justin Smith, the lead scout and recruiting analyst for TDA, to go down there and give your boy a look, man, because 6'5", which is 6'5", 225?
I believe so. The kid was 6'3" last year.
That's a big kid.
6'5" now. Yep.
That is a big young man right there, slinging the football at quarterback. So we're gonna have to get Justin down there to South Georgia, get his eyes on this young man, and bring a little word back to Coach Saban.
Hey, if Clemson and Ohio State's paid him some attention, I believe Alabama will they'll catch wind of it and get a look at him. But, look, I enjoy your show, man. A lot of times during the week at work, I'm riding to and from different places, and I'll listen, pull up some of your previous shows, and just very informative when it comes to Alabama football. And it's nice to be able to have a show where you can get some good information.
Absolutely. Definitely appreciate the love coming from you, man. I mean, this is what we do here at TDA. We provide the fans with, a different type of sound when it comes to bringing Alabama football in a way to where it's informative, but we can also be entertained, enjoy it, and have a family-like atmosphere. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I won't take up too much more of your time. I know some other people might like to call in, but I've been a Crimson Tide fan my whole life, and let's just cut to the chase here. Let's briefly talk about last year real quick. We had a very, a series of unfortunate events before the season started happen to our defense, obviously, and we were young in a lot of areas, and then obviously Tua got hurt, and 3 weeks after surgery, he's out there hobbling around against LSU, and we almost beat them. We come back there, and they'd only beat us by 4 or 5 points, and I know all the fans out there, that the haters, they can't stand it when I say had Tua been 100%, we'd probably win that game. But I truly feel in my heart we would have won the game had he been 100%. And then obviously the Mississippi State game and what happened to him. Mac Jones, insert Mac Jones there, he did a great job down the stretch. And but if somebody would have told me that we would have scored over 40 points against Auburn, I'm sure you probably would agree with me. You're probably thinking, hey, we're going to win that game. So, a lot of fault gets put on Mac Jones for the 2 interceptions he threw, but he did a good job in that game of bouncing back, and we still had over 40 points. So I think last year the defense being so young and in key areas with all the injuries, great experience last year that's going to carry over to this year. But I'm real excited about this year, man. The whole offensive line, I think, except one's back. Dylan Moses back. A lot of key guys back with experience on defense. Matt Jones, good leader, and Bryce Young in the wings. If he slips, he'll be there. And Jalen Waddle, most dynamic player in college football. And, Jerry Jeudy and Ruggs got a lot of the love last year on the wide receiving corps. But if you look at the stat book, old Smith was our number one receiver on the stats, and he's back. So I'm real excited, man. I'm upset about the Big Ten and Pac-12 canceling out, but hopefully the ACC, Big 12, and SEC will stick with their guns, and we'll see some football here in the next few weeks. And I'm real excited, man. I tell you what, if you look at our schedule, every game can be tough. But if you're being honest with me, Stephen, what game do you got circled? Or give me 2 games you got circled that's – I know for me it's Georgia and LSU, but that Georgia game, man, at Bryant-Denny Stadium, boy, them dogs, they hurting, man, to beat us. They wanting to beat us so bad, and they've been kind of quiet. You ain't really heard a whole lot about the dogs and recruiting here lately, and I guess they've been probably putting a little extra time in getting ready for us,
I mean, I'm looking at Georgia and LSU too. If I have to throw a third one in there, definitely looking at Auburn. Looking at the Auburn Tigers after that loss that Alabama unfortunately took last year. But we appreciate the call, man. Keep listening to us.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, Stephen.
Absolutely. I'm definitely looking at LSU, Georgia, and Auburn. But we continue with the call lines here. We pick up Ballard Sports Media. Chris out of Ballard Sports Media. What's going on, my friend?
Mr. Stephen Smith, how you doing tonight, man? Roll Tide.
Doing good, man. 2 days in the fall camp. So much stuff going on. Happy to see Dylan Moses back out there looking good. Bryce Young throwing. Mac Jones throwing. Devontae Smith. I mean, even a Slade Bolden. Keep your eyes on Slade Bolden this year. He might be something to watch.
Yeah. Absolutely. There's a lot of great players to watch this year, man, and especially you mentioned Dylan Moses. I think obviously losing him last year really hurt the defense. And you can't, make all the excuses because, we didn't have Dylan Moses and he's a leader, although we like to think of him as the leader of this defense. I would agree, man. I mean, he's a motivator. From what I understand, he's really, he just plays so well, and to have him back and to hear that he's doing well now, he's ready to go with the team is really great.
Well, not just that, to hear him say, I'm going to be hands-on with this defense is the biggest thing. So he's going to be hands-on with the defensive linemen, hands-on with the linebackers. He and Daniel Wright, the safety, they have a good communication going, so they're going to help out the secondary. Just having that piece in the middle that knows so much about football to make sure everybody's in at that right spot. And, he got a chance to step back last year and watch what happened, watch where the team went wrong, watch where the team was not looking particularly great at. So him being hands-on, him being as keen as he is, it's going to be awesome seeing what Dylan Moses puts together.
Absolutely, man. And, you mentioned guys like Naji Harris and Bryce Young. I've seen a couple. I saw highlights, man. It's just great to see the Crimson Tide back in action after a super long off season. And it was finally great, man. I not only love Alabama, I look up to a guy like Coach Saban, how he teaches his team, his motives and everything, the process and all that. So, man, when he has a press conference, I always love to listen in, and it was really great to hear from Coach this week. And, just to see the guys back in action. We're ready for the season. We're fired up. Let's go win the Natty.
Absolutely. I was happy to see Coach. I was happy to see Coach Sark, and I was even happy to see Freddie Roach, the defensive line coach. Coach Freddie's got some energy out this world. But Chris, we appreciate the call, man. Keep listening to us, buddy.
Awesome, Stephen. You have a good day, and roll Tide roll. We back.
Absolutely. Back in fall camp is the Crimson Tide. But small topic here right quick, ladies and gentlemen. Alabama has some former Alabama players that are right now in the NFL taking part in training camp. You got some guys really turning heads right now. Tua Tagovailoa doing it for the Miami Dolphins. Jalen Hurts, the Philadelphia Eagles are in love with the native Texan Jalen Hurts. Henry Ruggs III putting on a show for the Las Vegas Raiders right now. How about Jerry Juke Moves? Mama just broke my ankles, Judy. Jerry Judy doing his thing for the Denver Broncos may more than likely be wide receiver number 1 for the franchise during the middle portion of this upcoming season. Also, Garrett Dieter, who played at Alabama his lone season in 2016, doing well in training camp for the Chiefs, catching every pass thrown to him by one Patrick Mahomes. And Trayvon Diggs, the Dallas Cowboys, Mike McCarthy, getting him involved with extra reps with the first team. So you got a couple of guys right now, a couple of guys that were drafted in the 2020 venue, and then Garrett Dieter, who went undrafted in the 2017 venue, but all of these guys having success in fall and training camp for their various NFL, pro teams. So best wishes to all of those guys. We appreciate you guys lighting us up in the call-in queue and in the YouTube chat line. Continue to drop in your questions, thoughts, concerns in that YouTube chat line. If you have an idea that you want to call in for, we encourage you to leave us a voicemail, 205-448-1358. You can leave that voicemail right there, 205-448-1358. You can text with that number as well. But we take another break here on the show. When we get back, we talk one Naji Harris. The senior running back is about to make it difficult for everybody else in that backfield to eat. How is he doing this? We'll touch it up after this.
If you're an avid Alabama Crimson Tide fan and you love to flaunt it, then show your Alabama Crimson Tide support by grabbing the All Bama sneakers. They feature bold Crimson Tide graphics, so no one will be able to question where your allegiance lies. When you add these sweet sneakers to your Alabama Crimson Tide collection, go to stsfootwear.com and use the code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. That's code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. Go to stsfootwear.com and get your All Bama sneakers today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $5.95 per month or pay $49.95 for a full year subscription. That's a saving of almost $22. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
We back in here, people riding the Bentley Coupe or whatever car we may end up driving, but we're rocking and rolling here on a Wednesday. Hottest show on the streets here, number one forum for Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, with yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. And before we dive into the final topic of conversation, got to remind you, you love Alabama football, fans. You appreciate, you value, you crave Alabama football, and you are standing with these athletes. This is what I need for you to do. I need you to go to tdawear.com. That is tdawear.com, where you can get the We Want Football shirts and the Let Them Play shirts. We Want Football shirts and Let Them Play shirts. Purchasing those from tdawear.com. You can get other apparel on top of this, so there's more apparel included. But the We Want Football shirts and the Let Them Play shirts, showing your support for Alabama football and these student athletes, and also showing your support for Touchdown Alabama Magazine, also included in there. So go to tdawear.com, get you that apparel today. But getting now into Naji Harris. Alabama running back Naji Harris is seriously going to make it hard for everybody else in that backfield to eat carries, to gain opportunities out the backfield in the upcoming season. And I know Steve Sarkisian mentioned on Tuesday that he wants to see more guys featured out the backfield, more guys than just Najee. Having Najee in there is kind of, having Najee do everything is kind of an anomaly, and he wants to keep Najee fresh for the second half of the season. But the training, the off-season work that Harris has done, and the commitment he has made to this offseason work, it's going to make it very hard for everybody else to get their hands on the football. And the reason why I say this is, Najee has been with former Auburn standout Brad Lester this entire summer. Whether it's been in Tuscaloosa or they've been in a warehouse in Atlanta, in a training facility in Atlanta, Harris has been grinding. He's been putting his body through these crazy, unorthodox workouts. He's been doing speed drills, agility drills, core drills, footwork drills, flipping tires, lifting weights, whatever you can think about, Najee has done to put himself in the situation where he is going to be the full package back. And my goodness, his speed has improved. He's got elite speed now. I got a chance to talk to a close source the other day. Najee's 40 time at 6'2", 230 pounds is 4.45. 4.45 40 for Naji Harris at 6'2", 230. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. His 20-yard shuttle right now, I remember Lester timed him in the shuttle. His 20-yard shuttle, 3.7 seconds. Think about this for a minute. 3.7 seconds. If Najee would have if he would have declared for the NFL draft for this venue, if he would have declared for the draft back in April, if he would have been at the combine and he would have ran that 3.7 seconds in this year's combine shuttle, Harris would have broke the NFL record for that event. The current record holders for the 20-yard shuttle, it's a tie between Jason Allen, who was in the 2006 combine. He played for the University of Tennessee, and Brandon Cooks in the 2014 combine. He played for the Oregon State Beavers. Brandon Cooks was drafted by the New Orleans Saints in the 14 draft. He's right now, if I'm not mistaken, with the Los Angeles Rams. But both guys carried the same time of 3.81 seconds. Najee's time of 3.7, if he would have been at the combine, fastest of anybody in history in that 20-yard shuttle. So you can see from that right there, this young man has been working. And when you look at the background history of Naji Harris, she grew up with a rough childhood in Antioch, California. I mean, this is a guy that, he grew up, homeless. He grew up under, abuse in the home. He bounced from place to place. He lived in so many different areas. There was a moment where he ended up in a soup kitchen and had to, eat food that was not edible or taste worthy by his standards. Najee grew up rough. Najee grew up real rough, and he saw his mom endure a lot of things. And Najee right now in a situation where he knows this is my year. If I come out swinging, I can put myself in a situation where I'm a first-round pick, and I can get mama out of this situation. I can get mama out of this hole. I can get mama out of this circumstance. Najee knows this. After what he did down the stretch last year when he caught fire, having those 6, 100-yard games and ending the year with a 1,200-yard season with 13 touchdowns, he thought he was going to be late first, maybe mid second round pick. He got his grade back. He was a third to fourth round guy. That bothered him. He chose to come back to have every opportunity to hit on some goals that he has. And then with the coronavirus threatening to take away his senior season, now that he's going to have a chance to play football as the SEC Alabama moving forward, in Najee's mind, it's the ball is in my court. I know Trey Sanders is good. I know Brian Robinson, Keelan Robinson, they're all great. I got some freshmen behind me that are all talented, but I got to eat. I got to take all the chicken. I got to take all the pig feet. I got to take all the hog maws. I got to take all the turkey necks. I got to take everything off the table because I got to put my mama in a better situation. Najee Harris knows this. And some of the goals that Najee has this season, well, they include having another 1,000-yard year, winning the Heisman Trophy along with other individual accolades. Definitely wants to get Alabama to the SEC championship and win it. College football playoff national championship and win that as well. And also, Harris wants to move up on the all-time rushing list when you look at Alabama running backs. He wants to be considered in that conversation with the Sean Alexanders, with the Mark Ingrams, with the Derrick Henrys, with the Bobby Humphreys. He wants to be up there in that conversation. So he knows the best way to do that is to grab as many carries as I can and be productive with them. The main thing for Najee that I've always had a question with is, can he come out the gate swinging? Can he come out being aggressive from the word go? If he can do that, Harris is going to have a bang-up season, and he is going to prevent and make it difficult for other guys to be able to touch the field. Got to give another shout-out here to my man, Senator Hines, with another $4.99 in the super chats. Appreciate Senator for showing some love there for TDA. But you want the best in news, notes, information, and coverage, people, on your Crimson Tide. It's very simple and easy to do. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app, downloading it from your iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you've got the Android phone. For your audio listening needs, we have you taken care of here with iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, Google Play, Overcast, FM, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio. We got you taken care of. If the good and gracious Lord sees fit, I shall return on Friday, continuing the conversation that is Tide football. As always, Alabama fans, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Have those sent to your door. Link will be found in the description. Also, you can still pick up that online subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine, just $5.95 a month. You can still get that online subscription. Go to touchdownalabama.com, click join, be a part of the family, be a part of the community. Can still get that subscription. Now, it's only for a limited time now, because this month goes out Monday, August 31st. So before Monday goes out, get that online subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Go over to touchdownalabama.com. But till next time, folks, husbands love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children, continue doing those things legitimately now to not be bored. Get you those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. Protect yourself, protect the loved ones around you. Until next time, folks, spit in my own words.